everyone, it's me again, Brittany, and I'm here today with my N.E.W.T.s TBR slash my August TBR. I am so excited about this. August is my birthday month, and it's just such a fun way to celebrate. I am currently rereading the Harry Potter series. I'm so excited about the N.E.W.T.s. I loved participating in the Owls last month, and participating in the N.E.W.T.s this month while it's happening is just going to be incredible. I do have my little bullet journal spread, and don't worry guys, you'll see me do this in my upcoming reading vlog with just the career that I want, the letter, and then the challenges. And it is the Chamber of Secrets year, so I kind of tried to do something fun with that. I'm so excited. Let's start off by telling you what my career I am hopefully going for is, and that is Alchemist. It is the most difficult of all the careers. You have to get 5 O's, which means 3 tests for each of the class. That's already 15 books, and then you have to get 1 E, and that is 17 books. And I am doing kind of what I did last month, where I have like a backup career plan just in case, and that is Auror, because Auror only needs 1 O, 2 E's, and 2 A's. It's kind of up in the air. If I end up realizing that Alchemist is just too difficult or out of my league, then I'm going to abandon my Alchemist position for my Owls and just accept that I got my Auror license in my Owls and I'm going for my Auror's career this time. I know that there's no doubling up on challenges, there's no crossovers. For Alchemist, you have to get, I don't know if I want to read all the challenges to you guys. Definitely check out Bookroast's video. I will link her channel up in a card. I don't think I want to explain everything to you. My TBR right now is not completely set. I didn't want to have a TBR that was 100% one way because I knew that books could switch up for challenges. A lot of the challenges are pretty open. I do have just my pile of books that I kind of plan on reading this month, so let's get into it. I did try to wear some Slytherin Pride colors. This is a dark green shirt and I have like a green necklace and, you know, my Deathly Hallows, but I definitely need more Slytherin gear, so maybe I'll buy some this month. The first book that I want to read this month is The Sweetest Kind of Poison by Katie Wismer. This is a book that was written by a fellow booktuber. I am so excited to finally read her poetry collection. I just feel like I'm really going to enjoy it, and I feel like she put so much work into it, and I'm so happy to finally own it. I've been looking into it ever since she first started talking about potentially self-publishing it. So when there was a sale, I just had to go for it. I'm not exactly sure what the poetry collection is about, but the little snippet on the back is, the stories never tell you what to do when the knight who rescues you turns out to be more dangerous than the dragon he saved you from. I love that. This one can count for a multitude of challenges. I think that what I'm gonna end up using it for is read a standalone. It's either that for your charms. Charms is something that Auror needs, not Alchemist, but I'm obviously planning on trying to complete those challenges just in case. For an acceptable, you need a book with a gorgeous cover, and I do believe that this has a gorgeous cover, so it could count for either of those. The next book on my TBR is one I've already talked about in my Readathon TBR. I will link that. Definitely check it out because I'm not really going to be going into my TBR that's for them. I needed to add those books into this current TBR, so that is going to be The Song of Achilles. I plan on using this for Transfiguration Acceptable, which is read a book with LGBTQIA+ representation, because in this book, Achilles and Patroclus have a sort of relationship, and I'm so excited to read it. I read Circe by Madeline Miller last month, and I absolutely fell in love with it, so I'm really excited to read Song of Achilles. And again, check out my Readathon TBR to see what this book is counting for in there. Especially because I am a host for the Readathon. I am Team Aphrodite / Team Earth, and it's very exciting, so definitely check that video out if you haven't already. It's actually so easy to combine challenges if you are doing the N.E.W.T.s with ones that are on my TBR personally, but I feel like all the challenges in general for the Readathon are really versatile, so you can definitely add them into your N.E.W.T.s TBR if you were planning on doing both. Next up, I plan on reading, I actually already read it, but The Last Wish by Andrzej Sapkowski. I love this, but we're not going to talk about that because this isn't a wrap-up. This is a collection of short stories about Geralt of Rivia, who is a witcher. He lives in a world where there are demons and monsters, and witchers are mutated humans that are basically created to help eradicate them and help out the humans. I thought it was the first in the series, but the first 2 books in the Witcher series are actually just collections of short stories, and then it goes into the first book of the series. Loved it. I I use this one for my arithmancy acceptable, which is book that ends on an even number. The next book that I have on my TBR for this month is The Rose and the Dagger by Readathon. This is another book that I've already read at this point in the month. It is the sequel to The Wrath and the Dawn, and it follows the events directly after what happened in The Wrath and the Dawn, and basically Shahrazad is chosen to become the wife of the Caliph of Khorasan, which is a dreadful thing to be because every single one of his wives that he's ever had has died the morning after they are wed. So she is very nervous going into it and has to try and decide how to keep herself alive for more than one day and then discover why it is the Caliph has been killing all of his young brides. I was nervous going into The Rose and the Dagger because I've heard that this one wasn't as good as The Wrath and the Dawn, but I feel like they were pretty equal. Again, not a review. And this one I ended up using for my herbology acceptable, which is Mandrake. Quick, put your headphones on, listen to an audiobook. Because I listened to it on audio. Oh, this next one. I'm excited about this next one. So, A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemper. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling like none other. This story follows Prince Ren, who has been cursed to repeat the autumn of his 18th year over and over again until a girl may fall in love with him and break the curse. But after so many failures, him and his kingdom are barely holding on to hope. And then we have Harper, who is this badass girl that survived the streets of Washington, D.C. with cerebral palsy, and when she gets sucked into Ren's world, she has to fight for him and fight for herself and discover how to survive in a different place. I am very, very excited about this. This is the Fairy Loot edition, if you guys were wondering. I have been wanting to read this for so long. I just have been putting it off. And this one is going to be counting for my acceptable for potions, which is Polyjuice Potion, Read Your Friend's Favorite Book. And I asked Mika from Mika August what her favorite book was, and she said Air Fire, and I was like, okay, yeah, same, but I've already read that. And then I asked her what her favorite book of the year was, and she said, well, besides A Curse So Dark and Lonely, because I know you read it, and I had to, you know, break it to her that I hadn't. So if I don't read this, she's probably gonna disown me as a friend, and I'm excited to read it though because I've heard such wonderful things about it. Next up is Four Dead Queens by Astrid Schult. This is the Owl Crate edition, if you guys were wondering. We follow Carolee, who is one of the most skilled thieves and criminals in Kodara, and we also follow Varen, who's one of the most upstanding citizens of his own region in Kodara, Ionia. Their paths are crossed when Carolee steals a package from him with important information about the queens. And when Varen comes to collect his package back from her, they realize that they've been caught in a bigger situation than they ever would have thought possible, and they have to team up to try and save the four queens of the region. I already read this, actually. It was something else. But this book, specifically, I am going to be using for my astronomy acceptable, which is moon on the cover or anywhere in the title. And let's just zoom in. Alright guys, so do you see the moon right there? It's in one of the crowns. It's a little crescent moon. He has a smile. It counts. When I was telling my boyfriend that I was using this for the moon challenge and I showed him the moon, he's like, that's not really a moon. I think it is though, so I mean, comment down below if you think I'm cheating. I don't really think I am. The next baby on this TBR is To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. I'm so excited. This is actually the group book for my Mythathon group. I am just so hyped to read it. This has to do with Princess Lyra, who is one of the Siren princesses, and she is one of the most powerful princesses. She has stolen the hearts of 17 human men, and the hearts of human men equate power, and it is one of the only things the Sirens love more than the ocean. So when she is forced to kill one of her own and her mother exiles her to become the thing that she hates the most, a human, with one task and one task only, to return the heart of Prince Elian. She then is rescued by Prince Elian himself as she is drowning in the ocean and has to con him into helping her by saying that she knows the secret to killing all of Siren kind, which is humankind's most heated rival. I'm very excited to read this. I think it's going to be incredible. It sounds like hate to love. It sounds like enemies to lovers. It sounds so amazing. I did decide to use it for my Defense Against the Dark Arts acceptable challenge, which is book that's black under the dust jacket, because lo and behold, it is black. It also has a little dagger. Isn't that cool? And then it's gold. A big reason why I even decided to like fall back on Auror and even try to complete the Defense Against the Dark Arts and Charms classes, even if I wasn't sure if I'd need them, was mostly because of the next challenge that I'm going to talk about that is for Defense Against the Dark Arts. So And that challenge is Gilderoy's Memory Charm. Grab a pen, first book that you remembered just now from your TBR. And when I was watching G's video for this, I immediately wrote something down because I thought I'd need Defense Against the Dark Arts, and that was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I have just started my reread of Harry Potter for the first time ever. I am enjoying it so much and definitely wanted to read Chamber of Secrets this month, and she had been talking so much about Gilderoy and other Chamber of Secrets facts that it was just at the top of my memory when she first said it, and so I had to include it in my TBR. I'm so excited to read this book. The reread has been going so amazing. I know I've only read one book so far, but I just feel like Chamber of Secrets was one of my favorite books when I originally read the series, and I just feel like it's going to be such an amazing experience to read it during the N.E.W.T.s Chamber of Secrets year. Yeah, I'm sure you know what Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets is about. I feel like I really don't have to tell you this one. Next up, we have The Trials of Apollo, The Burning Maze, which is book 3 in The Trials of Apollo by Rick Riordan. This is another book that is on my TBR for the Mythathon, but for this specific one, I am using it for potions, my Exceeded Expectations challenge, which is house ingredient, book with the cover in your Hogwarts house color. So this one has a lot of greens going on. Obviously Slytherin is like green, so had to do it. I've been loving the Trials of Apollo series. If you weren't aware, the Trials of Apollo is the newest addition to the Rick Riordan family of books, and in this one, Apollo has been cast out of Olympus by Zeus for something he can't really remember doing because he is now a human boy named Lester Papadopoulos, who isn't the most fortunate in his appearance and who Apollo feels doesn't do him any justice. So Apollo has to complete trials to become himself once again and be accepted into Olympus. It has been such an entertaining series so far. There's a lot of dark themes being explored. Apollo is such a funny character to be from the perspective of. He is just very narcissistic, but also kind of pure in a different sort of way. And I just love reading from him, and I love seeing his adventures, and I love the cast of characters that we have in this series. So I can't wait to finally get to the 3rd book because the 4th book either just came out or it's about to come out. So definitely have to hop on that. This next one, I'm not 100% sure what challenge it'll count for, but I need to read Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. I am so excited about this. Look how beautiful this Fairy Loot edition is. I've been anticipating this book for what feels like forever. I've been seeing Books with Chloe rave about it, and it just sounds right up my alley. This book has to do with Miyung, who is a gumiho, which is a 9-tailed fox, and she survives off of consuming the energy of men, but she normally consumes the energy of bad men. But one day she has to break the only rule that her and her mother have, and that is not to reveal herself, when she has to save Ji-hoon from a goblin. In the process though, she loses her fox bead, which is basically her gumiho soul, and if she doesn't get it back by the end of the full moon, who knows what will happen. But when she and Ji-hoon meet up the next day, more and more starts to arise, and it turns out that she'll end up having to pick between her own fox speed and this human boy's life. I'm just so excited to get into it. I feel like it's going to be so cute, so fantastic. I don't really know that much about Korean mythologies, and I feel like this is going to be a wonderful introduction into it, so I'm just excited. It sounds like it's going to be romantic. It sounds like it has a lot going on, so I'm excited. How many times did I say excited? Probably a lot. Oh, I'm excited about this. I'm excited about all the books on my TBR this month. So I picked up Saga Volume 1 recently, and I have just been absolutely obsessed with graphic novels in general, and I didn't really know where to start, so I grabbed Saga because I feel like this is one of the most popular graphic novels, especially here on BookTube. This is a Romeo and Juliet sort of story, but in space, for 2 warring planets that hate each other and the 2 people that fall in love from those planets. It details their lives and the events that happen, but it's actually from their perspective of their child. I cannot wait to read it. I feel like it's gonna be amazing. I just love the artwork already, so yeah. And this one is going to count for my Charms Exceeded Expectations challenge, which is read a comic, graphic novel, or manga. So this next book has been on my TBR for so long, and we are finishing it this month, and that is The Poppy War by R.F. Kong. I have been on the last bit of this book for so long, and Dragon Republic just came out, and I need to read Dragon Republic, so I need to finish Poppy War. This follows Rin as she's accepted into Guard, which is the nation's most prestigious military academy, and it just details her life. It is very gruesome, very brutal. There's war, there's tons of trigger warnings, but I have been enjoying this so much. Rin is such a lovable character, so intelligent, so... I mean, I guess she's not that lovable, but I love her. I don't know. She's so intelligent, and she is just willing to do whatever it takes to get what she wants and to have more power. It also discusses shamanism, and it is such an interesting take on shamanism. It shows like the aspects that we know about it, about the taking of hallucinogenic drugs to commune with the gods, but it shows it in a very different way, and I have been enjoying it immensely. And that book is going to count for my Transfiguration Outstanding Challenge, which is McGonagall does not mess around. Read a book over 500 pages, because I am pretty sure this is over 500 pages. Barely, but still. This is another book that I'm not 100% sure where it's going to go, but I know I've been wanting to read this since last month, so I added it to my TBR, and that is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I can't wait. I've been anticipating this book for a while. Elizabeth hopes to become a warden of the library, and in this case, the library holds grimoires, and grimoires are not just books that sit on shelves, they are books with power and lives, and that can become monsters if provoked. And when the most dangerous grimoire is released, and a monster therefore is released from it, Elizabeth is framed for it, and she has to team up with the most unlikely of allies, who is Nathaniel. Nathaniel is a sorcerer, and Elizabeth has believed her entire life that sorcerers are evil. But when she goes on her journey with Nathaniel to try and clear her name, she discovers that maybe sorcerers weren't what she thought, and maybe what she is isn't what she thought either, because she might have powers of her own. I'm just excited. Like libraries, I'm pretty sure there's like a demon cat in it, and we all know how much I love demon cats, and I loved Margaret Rogerson's An Enchantment of Ravens, so I just can't wait to see this and see how it goes. It's gonna be fantastic. I can already feel it. Again, I'm really not sure where that one's gonna go. It can fit in a lot of places. I'm pretty sure it is written in past tense. It's over 350 pages. There's a few that can work for that. The last book on my TBR for the month is Arch Enemies by Marissa Meyer. This is the second book in the Renegades trilogy. I am just so excited to get to this. I've been wanting to get to this for a while, but I keep putting it off, so I just figure I'm gonna bite the bullet and try and read it this month. If I don't get to it, that's okay. I'm really not sure what challenge it's gonna go for. Anyways, this takes place in a world where there are prodigies, which are humans with extraordinary abilities, and these prodigies fall into one of two categories: the anarchists, which tend to be the villains, and the renegades, who are the heroes. And we follow Nova, who is the niece of one of the most notorious anarchists ever, and is looking for justice for the downfall of her family, because the renegades never came when they said they would. And we also follow Adrian, who is a renegade through and through, whose parents were renegades, whose adoptive fathers are renegades, and who he himself is a renegade. And when Nova and Adrian's paths collide, because Nova tries out to become a renegade, to be a spy for the anarchists, things get out of hand, because Nova and Adrian both are hiding their own secrets and their own identities. I love this series, guys. I can't talk enough good things. I'm so excited to get into this book. The ending of Renegades has me still screaming, like still screaming in my mind, and I just want to get to the next one, so we kind of have to. I almost forgot to mention one of the books that's on my TBR, and it's going to be counting for the challenge Ancient Runes Acceptable, which is N.E.W.T.s partnership, read recommended by a friend. So I actually asked Kevin from Irish Reader to recommend me a book, because we have very similar tastes, like weirdly similar. So I just knew that he would lead me in the right direction. And he recommended me Fire and Flood by Victoria Scott. I'm gonna read you what he said about the book, because it completely sold me on it. So why change something that's already perfect, you know? If you don't know it, let me try to pitch it to you. 16-year-old Tella has a brother who is terminally ill. She loves him, obviously, and will do whatever it takes to save him. She doesn't know what to do or how to help him until she receives a mysterious mysterious invite to become a contender in the Brimstone Bleed, a race across 4 different ecosystems: jungle, desert, ocean, and mountain. If she wins the race, she gets what she really wants, a cure for her brother. But everyone else in the race is trying to win the same prize. All terrain are dangerous and some may fall. But is Tella willing to risk taking part in the race and risk her life to win a cure for her brother? Dun dun dun! He wrote it like that. And then he said, I would describe it as the Hunger Games meets Pokemon. That just sounds incredible to me. I love that. I love Pokemon, I love Hunger Games, and it just sounds like it's going to be so, so good. And I'd almost forgotten to mention it because I don't own it yet, but I did just order it on Amazon and it should be coming in the mail soon. So yeah, I'm very, very excited about that. Okay, now that's really all the books I have to talk about. That's it for the books that I'm going to be showing you for my TBR for this month. I'm not 100% sure if these are the books that are going to stay on my TBR. You're definitely going to have to see my wrap up at the end of the month and see what I ended up doing, if I ended up being an alchemist or if I ended up being an auror. Everything's kind of up in the air right now, but I'm still super excited. This is gonna be amazing. I can already feel it. Let me know if you guys are participating in the N.E.W.T.s and what career you are going for, because I'm super curious. Thank you guys so, so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye!